Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Encircle Contents webinar. We're going to get started momentarily. We've got a packed hour ahead of us, so I'm gonna kick things off. We've got about 500 people registered for this webinar today, so I want to make sure that we get everything in that we need to say and answer as many questions as possible throughout the webinar. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. Like I said, my name's Leah. I'm the Director of Product and Content Marketing here at Encircle. I'm joined today by Kash Mirza. He's our Senior Product Manager responsible for our contents suite. And we are also joined, he's going to be joining us a little bit later, by Hassan Khan. He's the President and CEO of My Contents down in Texas. And he's going to be sharing some of his experiences implementing some of the new features that we're going to be talking about. Kash, if you want to just go to the next slide, the agenda for today. Quick intro and background, and then we're going to get right into it with the product overview, what's new and what's coming, and that's it. So if we go to the next slide. Many of you who've joined us today have probably been with Encircle for a long time. We actually got our start in the content space, and we are celebrating our 14th anniversary next week. So Encircle is, we have contents in our blood and in our DNA. And we have been looked to as a leader in the content space by restorers for over a decade now. But we know and we've heard from our customers that the market, the industry is evolving, and the needs that they have from their technology providers are evolving. And so Kash is leading the charge on bringing our content solution, not just to 2026, but thinking ahead to the future, and how can we build a solution that is going to take your contents operations and help you build and scale into the future. So the old way, we're going to talk about packouts, and we're going to talk about location tracking. And the old way, manual entry, Sharpies, labels, lost hours. And Hassan's going to come in and talk to you a little bit about his experience with the old way. And the new way, what we're looking ahead to is AI precision and efficiency, leveraging QR for logistics, but maintaining that sort of core fundamental value of Encircle, which is instant syncing, reliability, and making sure that everything is easy to use for the field teams that are out there using it every day. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Kash, if you go to the next slide. Thank you. So what we really want to see, we're shifting the field workflow from manual data entry to this high-speed, really photo-centric documentation that Kash is going to show you. And we're already seeing the value of that packing out in half the time. We are implementing AI solutions. We've already released AI item descriptions, and that is going incredibly well. We're seeing incredible value from that point of capture intelligence that's built on our restoration experience. So it's built right into our platform, and we're seeing really great feedback from that. And ultimately, what we want, and what our customers have told us they want, is they want everything in one. They don't want point solutions. There's a lot of app fatigue out there. A tool for this, a tool for that. Everybody wants things that are in one. They want to keep their teams in one pool. So that's what we're really focused on. So keeping inventory, pack out, mitigation, reporting, everything in a single trusted platform. So that's what we're all about. That's what Kash is working on and building towards. So I'm gonna disappear and throw it over to Kash to show you what we've been up to.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Leah. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we want to go through today and showcase. So at a high level, we want to showcase some of the features that are currently existing, that are in beta, the features that we'll be releasing very soon on August 12th, as well as give you a bit of a sneak peek on some of the other stuff that's coming a bit more further ahead, just so you have an idea of the fact that things are not stopping with what we're releasing now. There's more and more cool stuff coming, and a lot of the feedback and input that you've shared, we really take to heart and want to really apply things that make your lives a lot easier. So as you may have already seen, scan to pack QR codes is available to everyone in beta, so you might have already tested it out and tried it out, but as a whole, it is a fully supported customizable QR code system. You're able to generate QR code labels. You're able to autofill them with claim information. You don't need any custom hardware, any printer that you can kind of print paper is something that you'd be able to use for QR codes. If you haven't seen them before, Avery label sheets like these, it's disappearing a little bit, but Avery label sheets can be used to print out QR codes, but we also do support industrial thermal label printers as well, depending on your workflows. We have the QR codes that are fully functional, even if they're online or offline. And so there's a lot of functionality really to support whatever workflows that you are using in your day to day. As you can see here, here's some of the screens for the QR, but what I want to do once I talk through some of these features is actually just show you the full end-to-end workflow of what it would be like with QR codes, just so you have that real experience. See some of the screens here, you're able to scan QR codes, set them to boxes, etc. The piece that we're really excited to talk about is new functionality that is coming out on August 12th, which is next Wednesday, so very, very soon. And that is the additional functionality around QR codes to really amplify or multiply the value that QR codes brings to your workflow. QR code scan to pack makes it so that your pack out experience is really easy. You don't have to deal with Sharpies or box numbers in the field. You just scan whatever box is in front of you. This allows you now to use those same QR codes to track those boxes throughout the life cycle of the claim, where you're able to see which vault it's in, which location it's in. You're able to scan things with QR codes to add them to locations. But more than that, you're also able to, at a glance, scan a box and immediately understand the contents of the box, where it's supposed to go, etc. So there's a lot of really cool functionality that really levels up the full contents experience here at Encircle. So you can see here from some of these screens, we have updated and overhauled the way that locations and boxes work in Encircle. So we now have a dedicated location and box list, but we also have a dedicated locations and box page. So you will now have a page that is dedicated to all of the boxes within a specific location. So you can see who created the location, when it was last updated, what types of boxes that were in there, and then all of the boxes that are in it. You're also actually able to scan QR codes into the boxes just by scanning in bulk, so that you can have that level of quality control that reflects the real world in terms of moving boxes. So you're very, very unlikely to miss boxes if you're accounting for it that way. And then similarly, we have a dedicated box page that gives you all the information on all the items within the box. So it all kind of comes together to a full ecosystem where you're able to track things and really understand where things are throughout the whole life cycle. One of the other pieces that's also coming out on August 12th is the Item Inventory Manager. This is an update for the web experience. So a lot of our focus definitely is in the field first experience and making sure that the mobile experience is really great. But on the web side, this allows you to get that extra additional kind of validation when you're auditing or reviewing a claim, to make sure that you have the one-stop shop for all the item info. It's got advanced searching, advanced filtering. You're able to search by brand, disposition, and more. You're able to sort. You're able to have callouts for missing description fields. You also have bulk actions now, so you can set room or disposition in bulk. And then mainly, with the addition of all of the location functionality on mobile, making it so easy to add locations, you're also now able to see item locations and box info at a glance on web. So let's say, for example, someone's calling in and they're looking for their wedding dress. You're able to quickly search and find the wedding dress using the advanced filtering, and then immediately know which location, which box type it's in. So it all really, I would say, comes together to make this fulsome experience that really is quite streamlined. So I think with that, that is all of the stuff that's coming out on August 12th. But like I said, I'd really like to showcase what the end-to-end functionality really looks like. So let me just give you a bit of a live demo. So what I want to do is I want to start just by looking at what it would be like on web. So what I can see here is, we'll just start with the QR code functionality. If you are creating a QR code, like I mentioned, you have the full capability to create QR codes on web. You're able to select any of the templates that you want to select here. We support Avery templates, like I mentioned, but we also do support thermal printers. So if you want to print those labels in bulk, We have full functionality for that. You can preview the whole sheet. One of the things that I feel adds a lot of value to this is that you're able to, on these, fully customize them. So you're able to add specific tags. So if you wanted to add a specific tag here so that it's clearly identifiable, you can add that so that it kind of reflects the real world. But you're also able to add information that comes directly from the claim. So you could see here that the QR code has the address, it has the name of the homeowner, but it also has a job ID or any kind of ID that's pertinent to you. So you can have that pre-populated. There's also some instances where you can fully customize these and add other things. If you wanted, for example, and we've seen folks do this, adding something like this, so you can have a space here for initials, for example. The kind of there is no limit to the functionality that you can complete with the QR codes. And like I mentioned, once you're done with this, all you really have to do is print or generate the QR code labels. They are generated in a PDF format, and then you print them out, and then you're able to use them on any of the claims. You can print them with the information that's available here, so you can see it's specific to a claim, but you can also make them generic or universal. You can see this one doesn't have any claim information, and this means that you can use this QR code label for any claim. It doesn't have to be for a specific one. And so if you wanted to create kind of pre-prepared sheets so that you can have them ready in a to-go bag for a job, or if you want to have some on you extra in case you do end up running out, you are able to have those prepared and ready to be used in between jobs. But you also, like I said, are able to fully customize and add anything that you want here. While we are on web, I'm going to show you the item inventory. So this is the new item inventory page. You can see here how fast it loads. Even if there's thousands of items, it loads in seconds. You're able to see all of your items at a glance, and more importantly, you're able to get that real quick view of things that are missing. So you can see, for example, this item is missing a description. You can see that it's clearly called out, that it's missing a description to make the auditing a lot easier for you. If you wanted, for example, to look for items that are missing dispositions, you're able to now quickly sort. So you can see all of the items that maybe are missing dispositions. And now with bulk actions, you can quickly select them, set a disposition, and then have them be automatically updated. So they moved out to where they were supposed to be. But you can see that you're able to select items in bulk. Also, like I mentioned, you're able to have a lot more robust search. So if you wanted to search for something specific, you're now able to have that search here where you can have a search for an air freshener or something else. And then if you did also want to add kind of an additional search, maybe for brand, you can also apply that there and then refine your search so that you're able to really clearly and easily find exactly which item you're looking for. And like I mentioned, once you've found your item, you know exactly which vault it's in, exactly which box ID, easy as that. And so you can quickly go and search for any of the items that you really are looking for, but also at a glance, like I mentioned, filter and sort by locations. So you can see all of the items that are in Vault A, all of the items that are in a different location, all of the items that have come from the kitchen. And so the possibilities really are endless with what's available here. And it gives you that bird's eye view of everything that's happening on your job and the ability to review and validate that everything is filled in as you'd like. So it's really, like I said, that one-stop shop that transforms the way that not only you do the work, but the way that you review and audit a lot of this information as well. I'm going to switch gears now and show you a bit of the mobile experience, because I think the mobile experience is really what transforms a lot of the day-to-day stuff in content. So you can see here, I've got my mobile device. And let's say, for example, you are taking a contents item. So let me open the contents camera here. And then let's say I'm taking a picture of candle. You can see here, I'm taking the picture of the candle. AI descriptions starts working automatically. I have the candle in my hand. I don't really even have to make sure that it's staged perfectly. This is the way that you typically be taking contents photos, and this is the way that the AI is able to support it. You can see that the description is generated almost instantaneously, giving the information exactly what the item is and clarifying all of it. You can set the disposition, so you want it to be restorable or non-restorable, etc. And then here is where the QR code functionality comes in. So let's say you are setting a QR code. All you really need to do is go into and click the box section, and then you can I call this my totally to scale normal box, but you can see the box here. You set a QR code and it's really, really quick. You scan the QR code and then it is immediately associated to that specific box. And so what you can do now is when you're done with the item, both the QR code and the disposition remain sticky. And what that means is you don't have to continuously update or change the QR code. You only really need to do it when you are changing boxes. And so it makes it a lot easier for you flow-wise to change or adjust the QR codes whenever you need. Also, and we've added this functionality as well, if you are in the main camera mode, so you haven't yet taken a picture of an item, you are still actually able to set a QR code if you'd like, just by showing the QR code in the view here. Just do that. And you can actually set the QR code before you even captured a single item. And so what this lets you do is it allows the QR code functionality to fully work with whatever your workflow is. Are you setting the box before you start packing things out? Are you setting the boxes once you've identified specific items? Do you want to change it up? There is full flexibility to adapt to whatever your workflow is, but you can see that the priority really is that it's as quick as possible, as seamless as possible. And like I said, all this functionality works seamlessly offline, online, however you and your teams work. So you can see here that the item's been captured. And like I mentioned, we have a new updated boxes and locations page. I'll show you what those look like. So let's say you go to the boxes list and you want to find a specific box. Let's say we want to find the box that we just captured. You can actually just go straight to the scanner here and scan the QR code. And by scanning the QR code, you are immediately brought to a box that is dedicated to all the information that's associated to it. You can see the type of the box, the QR code, who packed or created the box. You can see any of the dispositions of items if there are multiple dispositions, but you can also see the rooms of origin. So if there are multiple rooms the items have come from to populate the box, you're able to quickly see all of that information at a glance. And like I mentioned at the top, you can quickly see the location, the box type, and the QR code on that bar at the top there. Going into the locations piece, let me just go back there. If you go into the location, you're able to see that you have locations for any of your transit locations like a truck or a vault, etc. So once you have a specific location set, adding boxes to a location is actually quite straightforward. All you really need to do is you go into that specific location. You can see right away who created the location, the types of boxes and location, and a full list of the boxes that are there. But you can see the scanning button here. All you really need to do to add boxes to that location is to open the scanner and start scanning. So you can see here, I'll scan this, started, and it's added. And if I had a bunch of other boxes as well, I can start adding all the boxes. You can see in bulk where there isn't really any delay. And then all of those boxes have now been added to that specific location. So in terms of a workflow, you can see where this adds a level of quality control, where if you are moving something into a vault, for example, you can quickly and easily scan every box as it goes into the location so that you have a quick view that everything has moved exactly where it needs to go. If you do, however, want to do some of these actions in bulk, we also fully support that. So if, for example, you want to move multiple boxes to a location without scanning, you're actually able to, through the bulk options here, move boxes. You select a location. So let's say you're moving things between a vault or a truck, for example. You're actually able to see a list of all of the boxes that are in that specific location, and then simply check the ones that you want to move into the new location. So you can see from here, some of these are QR codes, some of these are manual boxes. So the QR code functionality plays really, really well with the manual box flows. So if you do end up having a mix, if you do end up preferring manual and trying out QR, or if you want to do kind of anything, like I said, that supports your workflow, you're fully able to switch between any of them, and it's all supported. And so you can see from this view, it's almost like a bit of a checklist, where instead of scanning boxes, I can just validate and check that boxes have been moved. And then when I'm done, they're all moved to a specific location. And then lastly, like I mentioned, there's another bulk action here where you can move all of these. So instead of picking everyone manually, you just move all of these from, let's say, a truck to a different vault, and then all the items are simply moved over. So the degree of quality control, the degree of flexibility that you have with your workflows, a lot of it is accounted for so that you have full flexibility with how you want to make your work as easy as possible while you're in the field. But you can see that there is a lot of support for tracking, for understanding where a box is, for being able to have that quality control via scanning. And like I said, it multiplies the value that these QR codes bring to your workflow end to end, where now you're able to scan them, put them in locations, track where they are, and then view them on the web so you're able to see exactly where things are. Where I want to end off is a feature that I'm personally really excited about, and that is the native QR code scanning. So if you do have, let's say, a box that's in sight somewhere or in the warehouse or in the corner of a truck, and you're not really sure exactly which claim it's associated to, or you just really quickly want to know what's inside a specific box, you're actually able to, with your native camera, scan the QR code of a box. And you can see how quick that was, but it actually immediately opens the specific box page for that box. So you don't even have to have the app open. You don't have to have the claim open. You just open with your phone's native camera. It will go into the exact claim. It will go into the exact box page, and you'll be able to immediately see where that box is supposed to be and what items are inside the box as well. So like I said, a lot of functionality that's been added with this update that really completes the kind of full experience. One last thing that I just wanted to showcase is that you are able to change or move boxes. So let's say one of the main examples here is probably if you are cleaning. So let's say you want to switch this box QR code to a new box after you've cleaned it. There's a bulk action here where you can now move items to box. So you can take all the items that are in this box and move them to, let's say, a new QR code. So you can start a new box from this flow, create a new box, and then you can see all of the items have been moved to that new box. And what that means is that the box count is now going to be updated so that you have the two boxes, so they're both accounted for. You don't lose the original box, but you are able to now use the new QR code that you've associated with that new box. So it's a pretty seamless process as well if you are using multiple QR codes or switching between boxes for cleaning. If you do want to maintain your box count, or if a QR code is damaged, you're still also able to go in here and replace or change the QR code for a specific box while it's active. And so you don't have to do the move if you want to keep the box count. You can just do a quick switch. But yeah, a lot of information for a lot of really cool functionality that we're very excited to bring to you. Like I said, next Wednesday is when a lot of this stuff will be coming out. So we're really looking forward to seeing how you experience it, seeing how you get your teams up to speed on this new feature. We really do believe that it's going to make a big difference with the way that your teams work. And speaking of which, we do have Asan here with us. And what we were hoping to do actually was hear from Asan just in terms of his experience. We've been working really closely with Asan. He's been really great, just giving feedback, getting kind of an understanding of how the experts do things. And so, Asan, thank you for being here. We'd love to just kind of pick your brain on your experience with QR codes so far.
Hey man, thank you for having me, and any way I can contribute, I'm here. So
Yeah. That's awesome. So just to give some context, Asan has been using the QR code functionality for a while now. He's been using the original functionality that's available to everybody, but also recently has been testing out an early version of the scan to track functionality that also includes the locations and QR updates. And Asan, we'd love to hear from you how that experience has been so far.
so for the sake of kind of telling you what we went from doing to where we're at now. So this right here is a report that is completed by our field staff for each item that is worked on, packed, and they're required to do this for each room, each tech, each day on each job. This is for one job, all these pages. We don't have to do that anymore. The reason behind that is when we started using the QR functionality, every single item, every single box has to be tagged with a QR code when it's brought back to the facility, therefore allowing us to eliminate all this paperwork. So it has made it a lot more efficient for us in the field as well as when we bring it back to the warehouse and for us to sort it and put it where it needs to go, whether it needs to be cleaned or it's just ready for pack back and gets put into vaults right away. This has been a true game changer for us. And I'll let Kash tell you how we were a few years back when they initially brought this up to us. So it's coming from someone that did not want to do this at all, did not want to deal with QR codes, to someone that has embraced it, and it's actually changing very positively for us and our team.
Yeah, I was good timing because I was going to ask. I do remember when we first started talking about some of this functionality, there was a bit of hesitation on using QR codes, changing the processes and things, and now seeing the impact it's been having with yourself and your teams, it's very, very exciting to see. I was wondering if you could speak a bit more to just kind of the change management or how your team transitioned or adopted the new workflows that had to do with QR codes.
Look, I think the papers that I showed you, I think they were excited about not having to do that, so they were very receptive. We just wanted to cautiously attack it, right? We didn't want to just implement something and day one, job one, this is what we're doing. For a while, I asked the team to do both of the processes, use the QR codes as well as continue to use our old process. And then my ask to my management team was, hey, if we can get done with 2, 3 jobs with small margin of error, then we can go ahead and transition from not having to do documentation in the field on paper and convert it all to digital QR documentation. And they were able to achieve that fairly quickly. So them not having to do all the extra work, and then the leads having to keep a track of all the documentation, they can just review everything at the end of the day, in the field by the leads and also by, our operations management team. So that way they can get ahead of it too. So it's sped up. And then furthermore, not just the QR codes in the field, the new functionality that we've been testing, where the scan to track, that also has been a game changer. And I'll share this with you. This is what we would do previously. It's a vault inventory sheet. So from a process that was, you needed 3 people, you got one person standing there, doing the vault inventory sheet, tracking the box numbers, the contents of the boxes, and then you had a couple of people that were putting it into the vaults or getting everything on the racks. We've eliminated that. Now it takes 1 to 2 people to load a vault. Essentially what Kash showed you earlier, you add a vault location, so vault 1, and then you start scanning the boxes and they go straight into the vault. And then we have a specialized system for our racks, and we're able to even put our rack locations and, hey, this is going here, this is going there. So it simplifies the entire process for. We have designated areas in our warehouse for rugs and TVs and large items, appliances. And since we've started this QR process, we haven't had a situation where we'll go deliver a pack back and we're missing items. So this has been a game changer for us. Again, a few years back, I was totally against it, but with new technology and how these guys have implemented it, it's helped us out greatly. So it's made it more efficient. It saved us time in the field with the techs and in the warehouse whenever we're, getting everything back together to go back up.
That's great. And one of the things that we've heard a lot is that it adds a level of quality control. If you have to scan a box when you're physically moving it between a location, right then and there if you've missed something or something's missing. And so
Yeah.
I think that really helps. Did you find it took a little while for your teams to kind of start learning the process, or was it fairly intuitive? How much training did it really take when folks were starting to uptake it?
One thing that I will say, and I've said this about Encircle from the start, is the user interface for the mobile, the web, on your app. It's so easy. It's so easy. We ask during our interview process, do you use social media? Do you use Facebook? Do you use Instagram? If you can do that, then you can definitely use the inventory software we have for Encircle. The functionality and the flow of the QR process is very easy. We had a full training with our team, and then there was a little bit of hand holding to make sure everyone understood. But since then, it has not been a difficult process. And Kash shared some training videos with us that we share with the team as well. And it's if you have techs that are already using it, this is just another step that speeds up the process. So And then the other thing I'll say, Cash, too, is with the AI descriptions, that has helped us significantly too, because sometimes we're trying to track an item for the client, and we can easily find it. Now we know which box it's in and which vault it's in. Not that we weren't doing that before, it's just made it a lot easier. Before we had to scan, all those pages that we had to identify and find the item per se, and then find which vault it's in. So it's definitely made locating items much better.
That's a really good point. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about the AI descriptions today because we're really focused about the new stuff that's coming on August 12th. But I was curious as well, the full process end to end, especially with the AI descriptions. How are you finding, I'd say, the process you had 6 months ago to now, all of the features together, specifically the impact of AI? How has that been affecting your teams?
When so for like a basic pack and store, right? Like there's no damage to the contents. We're just going to go pack out contents. We didn't focus too much. I mean, we would put in, hey, couch, chair. We didn't focus too much on adding specific descriptions to each item, right? Because we're not assessing it for salvageability. There's no damage to it, right? But with the AI added to it, it adds a description for everything, whether it's being assessed for salvageability or not, right? So that has helped us identify items when, let's say we have something in storage for 6 months and we have seasonal change and the homeowner needs X, Y, Z. It's made it easier for us to find stuff, right? So that has helped. And then furthermore, there was some challenges early on, but I think the AI is learning, and the way it's identifying contents, it's gotten much better from day one to now.
That's a really good point. We've released several updates since the original AI description model, and we continue to evaluate and update to make sure it's as good as possible. I think that's the benefit of having feedback from folks like yourself when you reach out and say, "Hey, it's dealing with books a bit differently, or it's dealing with, I don't know, just media items a bit differently." It's one of those insights that you only get when you are operating at such scale, where you can create the most robust model possible, because we're really focused on tackling this very specific restoration problem. So we can build, well, I'd say, a best-in-class solution for it. So your feedback has been really helpful. I'm glad that it's been improving. So that's definitely the goal.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
think?
it's been great for us.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Sorry, I interrupted you, Hassan.
No, no, you're good.
The one of the things that does come up when folks start to use the QR code functionality, and it's ironic because you talked a lot about the time savings that you experienced, but one of the things that comes up is folks are hesitant about the amount of time it will take to stand up the process, to print the QR codes, to kind of get people used to it. How did you kind of present that to your teams? I know you said then they compared it to their previous process. It seemed pretty straightforward in terms of the savings, but there was always some friction when we talked to folks. How do you kind of deal with that initial
One thing that's
hesitation?
done for us, it's forced our operations team to be more prepared for each job individually, right? If it's a multiple day pack out, what generally would happen is, hey, we're just sending X amount of boxes, X amount of pads, materials, and at the end of the day, we'll figure out what we need for the rest of the days. Now we have to print, we have a general idea of, hey, it's going to be 400 boxes, 82 items. So then we try to, generate as much QR codes needed for that. So it helps us with tracking of, inventory and supplies and all that too. So it created efficiencies where you wouldn't see otherwise, right? But then at the same time, there have been situations where, hey, we're out of QR codes. So what do we do? So initially we had our original tags, and we would label boxes and give them numbers. But what we've done is we've printed generic QR codes without any client names on them, and then the leads have maybe 100 extra. So that way, if you get to, let's say it's 5 o'clock and you're out of QR codes, you got to be there for another hour or two. Guess what? We have the generic tags that can be used for those boxes and items. So that's also best practice that we've discovered. The QR codes don't have to be specific to a job, right? So we'll print the 400 and then 100 items tags, and then what we'll do is give extra. So in case there is a mess up or whatnot, or they need more, or something happened where it requires more, it's readily available. So my initial hesitation also was like, hey, it's going to delay because what if we run out of codes or QR
Yeah,
codes or then well, we've solved that problem by just supplementing our team with just basic generic QR codes without any, client name or information on it. We just handwrite that. And it may just be like 5 or 10, that are being done that way. Otherwise, the whole process is exactly the same.
that makes a lot of sense. And
And we
and-
opted to use the Avery, the larger Avery ones. They're bigger, they're easier to see. We also have our team initial the QR codes too, so we know ultimately who packed it and who's responsible for the item if it gets damaged. So that's it. We opted not to go with the thermal ones because the way we operate, we're not printing them as we're tagging the items and whatnot. So it'll all get done in advance. But whatever function works good for you and your team, you guys can, do whatever. If anyone has any specific questions about how we're doing it, I'm more than welcome to answer those questions.
100%. And I think to the point of the generic QR codes, we talked a little bit about this earlier, where if you do have a box and you don't know which claim it's associated to, you can just scan it with your phone's camera. Have you used that functionality in the field yet, or have you had a chance to test that out? Or
Yes, we have, and it's worked out well. It's pretty neat. We like it.
yeah, I think it's just one of those cool, I think, tech things that really makes a difference when you do need it. Where it's just like you
Yeah,
don't want
I'm gonna
to
start
deal
using the
with.
QR codes for like mops and stuff around my facility. Create a my contents warehouse file, and then just like slap the QR code and everything.
I think our real philosophy is to make it as flexible as possible because we know folks do different things and they have different workflows. They want whichever workflow they do to be as effective as possible, but that's why we provide a lot of options so people can
Yeah.
do the sky's the limit really for a lot of things that people want to and are able to do. I just have one last question, and it's about you mentioned the AI descriptions gives you better description quality. Do you find, and I'm thinking more about the web searching version, that helps you find things better because it's documenting things that your texts weren't documenting before? Or what's that searching experience like after claims been hacked up?
Well, it's definitely made it more efficient, right? Like I said, we don't have to go scan through all the documents that we have, all the handwritten files to find specific things. So kind of go back to what I said earlier. On a regular pack out where assessment's not needed, description is not needed as much, right? But whenever we're assessing for salvageability, it needs to be total loss or it needs to be clean, then we need to know exactly what that item is so we can charge correctly for the cleaning. Or if it's total loss, we know exactly how to present it for replacement, right? But if it's just like something that just needs to be packed just a pack and store, generally don't need to be that much description. But this AI feature has added that capability, so it just makes it streamlines the process of us having to locate stuff and things like that.
That makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Hassan, for giving all this feedback, sharing your insights. We have a bit of time at the very end for more Q&A. I'm sure folks will have more questions for you specifically on your process and your workflows. So thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. So really quickly now, what I want to do is I want to showcase some of the stuff that is upcoming. There's a couple features that we are planning or building out that we're excited to share. And then, like I said, we'll end it off with some Q&A with both myself and Hassan. So if there are any questions, feel free to send those out and we will be more than happy to answer them for you. So looking at the stuff that is upcoming. So like I mentioned, we are planning and thinking around some of the stuff that we want to improve for contents as a whole. And one of the things that we are looking ahead to doing is to introduce potentially 3 different capture modes. Our goal and our focus really is to streamline item capture as much as possible. And so what we're looking to introduce is essentially a snap mode. So a mode where you simply click, click, click. Each individual click is an individual item that is run through the AI description engine and allows you to pack and document items as easy as possible without any of that intermediary loading or detail screen. And the focus for that really is for items that you just need to document and pack as soon as possible. We are going to be building out an inspect mode. It's basically the current descriptions or detailed view that you see right now when you're doing contents items, but we'll be doing some upgrades to AI descriptions, like I'll show a little bit later. It allows you to now pull serial and model number, not only from the original photo, but from the data tags as well to create a more robust and complete description. This is specifically for items that I think are higher value, total loss, TVs, electronics, microwaves, etc. And then lastly, building out an arrange mode. This allows you to take a single picture of an item and then, sorry, a single picture of a photo and have it intelligently crop and create multiple items from that individual photo. And then a lot more other features are coming. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. I'll give you a bit of a preview of some of the things that are coming, but more so to just keep in mind that the updates to contents are not stopping. The momentum is not stopping. There is more stuff coming as we start to kind of build more things. So we're really, really excited about it. So just to show you a bit of a preview,
Hey,
the
Cash,
AI descriptions.
Cash, if I
Oh
can
yeah,
add one.
please.
Guys, if there's any type of enhancements, issues, or features that you guys want and need in Encircle, reach out to Kash. My team comes to me on a daily, weekly basis with input. I get it to the team, and they have made a lot of changes to the AI, some functionality because of the feedback that we've given. Remember, these guys are giving us a tool. They may not be the folks that are in the field doing it every day. We are. So if we can give them the feedback that they need to fix an issue or make something better, or maybe something you haven't thought about or your team has thought about, no one else thought about, give the feedback. It may be something that can easily, be updated in Encircle. My goal here, and every time I speak, is not to just, for the sake of my contents getting this platform, right? It's to elevate contents restoration as a whole in the industry, right? We're the stepchild of the process. Nobody thinks about us, cares about us, just move the stuff to the side and, we're trying to change that vision, trying to make sure that everyone understands the quality and the work that we do, and we're able to do it because of the platform and the application that Encircle has provided us. So please, please, please. A lot of this that he's sharing with you now about new features coming in, some of the stuff that we've shared with him that, hey, we need this. Can you bring this in? Can you help us? It'll streamline our work. So guys, if you guys see something that you think can add value, or enhance or whatnot, please don't hesitate to reach out to Kash and the team over at Encircle to start adding those features. Sorry, I had
Definitely.
to.
Oh
I
no,
had
no,
to.
please. That's very, very helpful. We take your feedback very, very seriously. It's the reason why we've been able to make Encircle such a beneficial and useful product for people is because we want to make sure that it solves real problems for yourselves who are doing the work in the field. So please keep the feedback coming. Like I mentioned, we've got updates to AI descriptions that are coming that will integrate the data tag, or what we're calling product label. And so ultimately what will happen is we want to allow for the original photo and the additional data tag photo to create a more robust description that not only accounts for the model number, it'll also pull out the serial number. It'll also make the description more accurate based on information that is in the data tag, so that even the description itself will account for both photos. So that improvement is coming. We also have enhancements to photo note capture. This is specifically a flow that will enable you to take pictures a lot easier in the field. So once you've taken that first photo, if you click this photo note button or this enhanced multi-photo button, you're now brought to a camera where you can just snap, 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 just start taking multiple additional photos for any of your items that are automatically stored as a note onto the item itself, but the user experience is just a lot quicker. You just focus on taking the items. There are templates or chips for the most common note types at the very top, so you can quick select if you wanted to set specific note types like pre-existing damage, water damage, fire damage, additional photos, etc. But that flow is fully optional. If you want to just add multiple photos that are additional photos to an item to add more details to it, this flow is going to enable you to do that a lot easier. So there's that. Here are two other features that we're really excited about. This is one that is really cool. The ability to, using the phone's on-device camera, measure the size, width, height, and length of specific items within the field, and then have that data be added to the details of the item. So if you are of having a wardrobe or a couch or anything like that in the field, you are going to be able to now just capture those details. You can see how easy it is. And then those details are automatically added and associated to that item. So this is functionality that is coming out as well. And then I'll show you more stuff. So we've also got, let me just go back here, multi-item from photo. So this was that arrange mode that I was mentioning. It happens really quick, but you could see if you have multiple items, and I'll have to go back because, like I said, it's very fast. If you have multiple items that are staged on a table, AI can automatically split those items into individual items to be captured, and then you can go in and recrop them if need be. But this will allow you to, if you have a staged group of items, immediately turn those into items. AI descriptions will process each of them automatically within the engine, and then they can all be associated to a specific box, a specific disposition, etc. And yeah, just makes your life a lot easier when it comes to documenting contents. And then lastly, we are also making updates to the web experience. So you will see that there's an update to the kind of items page right now, but we are also making updates to the pricing page. I will stress, and it's here in bold, we will not be replacing the spreadsheet page. We know that a lot of users use the spreadsheet page and it has a lot of value. What we are looking to do is provide you a couple different avenues to see the information you need. And one of these will be an updated pricing page that will give you a one-stop shop for all your info. It gives you advanced searching. It gives you validation on items that are missing pricing, that are missing categories or age. It gives you the ability to sort to find things that are missing information or, like I said, advanced filtering, bulk actions, a bunch of other things. So it gives you that view that's specific and focused on the item pricing experience. And this is, just to give you a bit of a preview, part and parcel with some future work that we are planning for further advancements and enhancements when it comes to just pricing automations as a whole. So please keep an eye out for a bunch of extra cool stuff that is coming. So that was a lot of, I would say, quick preview of a lot of the really cool stuff that's coming, but we're definitely very excited to, like I said, continue the momentum and continue to build things that really make your field experience that much better, because that's what we really focus here at Encircle. So that's all from me.
Great, thanks, Kash. I think that quick measurements video generated some big response. So
I could see the chat
yeah.
moving really quickly once.
I have
Yeah,
a question about that. Is there any way to possibly get measurements after the photo's been taken? Because ChatGPT can do that, upload a photo, it can use perception and all that stuff and use that to measure. Is that a possibility?
That's a good question. Maybe that's a good first question for our Q&A. But really quickly, I think it's something that we're looking into. A lot of the stuff we showed is previews, and once we develop a beta version to put into hands of customers and folks like yourself, Hassan, to test out, we'll use some of that feedback to see how best we can improve it. But definitely measurements on our radar, and improvements to it will definitely be beneficial.
Yep. I like it.
well, there's been a couple of questions. A lot of questions that have come in, Kash, are around like replacing QR codes and like changing them over throughout the contents life cycle, like dirty to clean to pack back. Can you just talk about how somebody could use our system? And maybe, Hassan, this is something that you could talk about how you guys have done it. Is how are we replacing QR codes? Are we generating the same QR codes twice? If we could just go into sort of that workflow would be great.
Great question. I can talk about it from just a product perspective. So what we are releasing in this August 12th version is a lot more enhanced and streamlined functionality for replacing and adjusting QR codes. So like I showed in the demo preview, there is a bulk action that allows you to move items between boxes. And so what that allows you to do is it allows you to take all the items that are in box A and move them to box B that ideally has a different QR code. So it allows you to have both of the boxes counted in your box count if you're using it that way. But it also means that you don't have to find and reprint the specific QR code or peel that QR code off one box and move it to the other. You can just have a separate stack of QR codes. And this is totally up to your workflow, where if you want to have a stack of generic QR codes that have a tag that says cleaned, that's in your cleaning area, or if you want to pre-print a stack of QR codes that are specific to that claim with claim information that are set to clean. Both of those are totally viable, but you should not be reusing QR codes for a majority of use cases. You should be transitioning or moving items between them. But this also lets you consolidate. So let's say you have two boxes that have two separate QR codes, and you want to put them into one box after the fact, you can move items from multiple boxes into one and have that new QR code be accounted for. So there's a lot of flexibility if you want to move boxes. And if you are replacing QR codes, like I showed, you can just one-to-one replace the QR code on a box if it's damaged with any other QR code, and it will keep the count consistent. So that's the best practice that we would recommend for that transition.
Okay, so
There was
I'll speak from the in-field perspective. So we struggle with this a bit, right? So we looked at it from a few different perspectives. So when you disposition a content, for example, for this example, let's say it's a fire loss. You know, when we're going to fire loss, we essentially have two dispositions: clean, restorable, or total loss, right? Assuming the fire was throughout the entire house, affected by smoke, soot, and all that. So what we do is, obviously the total loss items will be inventoried on site and disposed of, as long as we have a disposal authorization. On the other side, what we have is we have pre-printed QR codes that says restore on them. So we know that when we bring it back, it's, disposition for, needing to be cleaned, further assessed or whatnot. We do not change the disposition of the contents in Encircle, nor do we move the boxes to different dispositions, okay? So once the contents are brought and they're going through the cleaning process, what we do is we create a separate room called clean contents. And then because we got to do QC to make sure those contents are clean, right? We will re-inventory those contents as cleaned and take photos of them, and then use a new QR code for that same client, says cleaned, and then we slap those on the boxes. And then obviously brand new boxes, photos of those items cleaned. So that way it does two things for you. The first part of it that you don't want to mess up is you need to know what the dispositions are for billing, right? So whatever you've tagged for clean or total loss, you don't want to change that into your disposition as clean. So leave that as is, and then we re-inventory once it's being repacked as clean content. So then you can further justify to the client or the carrier or the insurance company if they want to confirm that if these contents are clean. That's the process that we use. That's a process that has allowed us to get paid on our invoices because we can support every single thing that we're doing. It may be a little bit overkill. Y'all may have a different process, but it's a process that, because we do a lot of large loss commercial work, fire work, so we're dealing with a lot of moving parts. This has allowed us to generate the reports that are needed to support our invoices and get paid on time and full invoice amounts.
Great. Kash, I think it's related to the similar question. Best practices so that the system reflects both the original packed boxes and the replacement packed boxes. This is related to box count, so that things can all be sort of, the inventory is accurate and traceable, and that the box count is correct for invoicing into Xactimate, for example.
Yeah, I would say both Hassan's method and the method where you use the move to new box functionality will both lead to you having a consistent updated box count. So that's what we would recommend. If you are moving items between boxes, then you could use that flow. If you are repacking them and adding a new box, that new box will also count to your box count. So both should work.
Great. We're running out of time. I just want everybody to be assured that if you did ask a question and it didn't get answered today, we will triage the questions and make sure it either gets to your success manager, to either Kash. If it's product feedback, we really appreciate. I'll make sure it gets in Kash's hands, because there's a lot of questions and we have only about 3 minutes left, so we won't get to everything today. Hassan, this question is for you. Do you have a preference for your field team, iPads or iPhones?
No, the only time we have concerns with this is the tech actually on Encircle doing what they're supposed to, or are they on social media or answering texts? That's the only time that we've kind of toyed with the idea of switching to iPads versus Apple or iPhones. Honestly, it just depends on you, your company. If you want the extra cost of having iPads, furthermore, you have to get the cellular version so they're connected to the internet at all times. So it essentially depends on you, your trust factor with your team, and if you're willing to absorb that cost. For us, we have not had a need to move to iPads. Our operations team has iPads because if they go into the field, it's easier for them to pull up the web version on Safari or pull up the app version to just do QC on site. So yeah, we do have some iPads, but our field staff, they're just using their Android or their Apple devices.
A couple.
There's one in here that I like. Can I ask you that too? Because it's from my team.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's so one thing that we have a challenge with when it comes to invoicing is is there a way to determine if let's say we're padding a chair, right? It may take one moving blanket, but then we're doing a couch. A couch can take 2 pads or it can take 5 pads, right? Is there any way to add that into Encircle so that way we don't have to keep doing paper documentation? Because one couch can be 3 pads or it can be 5 pads, right? Or let's say we have a coffee table that has the coffee table's metal, then it has a glass piece on top, another glass piece on the bottom. Now we're using boxes, moving blankets, and then so it ends up going from one item to 3 separate items because they have to be handled separately, right? Is there a way we could add something like that in there? Furthermore, let's say we're packing anything that's like oversized item, like a tall item. So what we do is we, take 2 small boxes, have them tall stacked on top of each other and build a bigger box. Well, is there a way for us to track that we're using 2 boxes for this item versus 1? Just something that we are coming across that's challenge to us to see if there's any way at a minimum we can add some like, hey, this item has 5 moving blankets. So when we create a report, it shows, hey, 84 moving blankets were used for this job.
That's a really good question. So I will say, looking to the future, we are doing more investigation into consumables tracking and bubble wrap, uh, moving sheets, etc., moving cloths, sorry. And so that's something that we are definitely looking into. Right now, what we've heard from some folks is they will create some custom box types, like for example, a double small or a double medium if they are putting things top and bottom like that, just to be able to count for uncommon box configurations. And so when you do the box count, they're able to do a bit of math at the end there. But ultimately, what we are looking to do is to try to update so that the consumables are tracked a little bit more organically within the platform, similar to the way that box counts kind of see the quick box count. We want to do something similar for consumables down the line as well. So it's something that we hear loud and clear.
Great. Excuse me. We are at time. So I just want to thank everyone again for joining us today. Thank you so much to Hassan for sharing his experience and his expertise. He did put his email in the chat. And Hassan, if you're all right, we could also include it in the follow-up emails that we send out if people want to reach out to you. I don't know if your email inbox will get flooded, but
of course, I'll do whatever is in my power to help as many contents folks out.
That's great. Thank you, Hassan. That is everything for today. We are at time. Thank you again for coming. Any final words, Kash?
I think I've said a lot. Please send any feedback. We really, really do appreciate it, and we take it all to heart. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.